Hi everyone, it's Captain Magpie's YouTube channel. Welcome back to another video on my channel. Today's video will be going over my round 4 tips and doing my tips and previews for round 5. If you are returning Captain Magpies, welcome, like, comment, share. If you're new to the channel, watch this for the first time, like, comment, share, and subscribe. Now, other games I did pretty good. I'm actually pretty happy. I picked the Pies to get the job done work. I picked the Cats to get the job done. I picked the Suns. I picked Brisbane. I picked North. I picked the Giants. I picked St Kilda. And I picked the Bulldogs. So I only got 2 wrong at this rate. But I'm very much looking forward to tipping round 5. The Adelaide Crows versus the Cats at the Adelaide Oval on Thursday night. Now, these two teams have played in cracking games before. Last time these two sides met was round 21, 2024, and the Cats won by 5 points. But having said that, the Cats have won at the Adelaide Oval a fair bit, and they've pretty much won 4 of the last 5. The last time the Adelaide won at the Adelaide Oval was round 1, 2021. So having said that, they've done pretty good here, Geelong, and this is where it becomes interesting. Yes, Adelaide were in there, that they gather around Guernsey and the Cats aren't. But this is where I think you can expose their defence a little bit. While Adelaide did come off a loss by a point in hot conditions, the Cats who played on Friday night, they'll be a lot more fresh and having to travel back. So I think this is a good move. Well, I think Franken will play. I hope that he doesn't pull out. I'm going to say the Cats will win by 10 points. I think it will be a very close game. Collingwood versus Sydney on a Friday night, in which I will be streaming. Now, I don't know if I'll be streaming any other games. I don't know yet. It depends on how I feel. Now, while I did the preview for this game, I think Collingwood are in much better form. 3-1 compared to 2-2. Sydney have lost the opening round and round 1, and well defeated the Dockers and also North Melbourne. And having said that, I don't trust Sydney. I think it will take a while to get used to the game plan. I'm going to say Collingwood by 20 points, and I think our forward line and our midfield will be too good. I know we don't have to go. I know we don't have Dan Houston and also Lockie Schultz, but I do think that we've got the options there to really play. Now, Jordan DeGoey is only meant to miss a week. Dan Houston has been suspended for 2 weeks and 2 to 3 weeks for Lockie Schultz as well. But having said that, Collingwood by 20 points. North Melbourne versus the Gold Coast Suns Saturday at Barossa Park. Now, I'm going to go out on a limb and I'm going to say that this should be the easiest game in the world for Gold Coast. While North Melbourne generally do bounce back after being smacked, I do think that they'll probably come out far a little bit, but I do think that we're going to see a great contest. And I think the Gold Coast Suns' retro Guernsey looks great in pink. I love it, personally. But having said that, I think they're favourites for a reason. They were so good. They were so good on Saturday against the Crows, where I think that you got to consider them. You really do. They're undefeated for a reason. And I'm going to say the Gold Coast Suns by 45 points. Carlton versus West Coast. This game worries me from a content point of view. May stream this one. I'm not 100% sure yet. But this is a genuine 50-50, guys. You don't know who you can trust. Now, while Carlton haven't won a game, well, West Coast clearly have not. Let me just point out one thing. I expected them to lose to the Giants. I expected them to lose to the Suns. And I expect them to lose to the Dockers. They were very competitive against the Lions. So for them to be in front against the Brisbane Lions, compared to the Blues, again, the first half is great. The second half isn't as great. And that's where the concern is for me. If West Coast can stick by and hang in there, teams will know this for a fact and it'll get the opportunities going. Now, we know they won by 65 points in round 23, 2024. But again, Harry Mackay will be back, but I don't know if you can solve this. Well, Harry Mackay has played, they still lost. So again, they're not very good second half team. Well, I think West Coast's defence is going to have a tough day in the office, a little bit in trying to stop Colonel and Mackay. I do think that this is an opportunity where, for West Coast, they can come in here. I know Carlton have dominated, and the last time that they won was round 12 in 2021, and that was at the SCG. And this is a neutral ground for them, right? That was a neutral ground. All what they've played in is at Optus Stadium and at Marvel. They haven't played against each other at the Adelaide Oval, and while I'm going with that, I'm going to back in the Eagles. I really do think they can do it. I think this will be a 7-point win, but again, I will not be surprised if Carlton lose to West Coast. And while I'm on that, I generally do think that this is generally 50-50. This could go either way. You cannot trust Carlton. May not be able to trust West Coast as much, but I do think the second half of the Blues do let themselves down, and that's when they concede a lot more goals as well. Bulldogs versus the Brisbane Lions at Melbourne Oval, where, again, this might be an interesting game. I think Brisbane are in that better form. I really do. Think this is another 50-50 that can go either way, but I do think that this is a great opportunity for Brisbane Lions to come out. Well, I do think that this should be a game where Brisbane should win. I don't know if there's any Bulldogs players that are going to come back this week. But Brisbane do look the goods. Now, while we are talking by form, yes, Brisbane won by 43 points at Marvel round 13, 2024. But since then, it hasn't been the way that we wanted. Bulldogs have only won 2, while Brisbane Lions have won 3. So having said that, they won 3 technically, because they also won at the Gabba by a point in the semi-finals. But having said that too, this is where I feel like you can expose the Bulldogs a little bit. And while I think you can expose the defence and the full line is looking good, Harris Andrews is going to have a tough day in the office. I'm going to pick the Lions, but I think this will be a 25-point win. It could go either way, but I reckon Sam Darcy could dominate as well. Melbourne versus Essendon at the Adelaide Oval. Now, these two teams have played before. Round 18, 2024 was the last time these two sides met, and also they have met at Gather Round as well, where Essendon got the job done by 27 points. Now, while Melbourne have been good, People's First Stadium was another one that Melbourne defeated the Bombers round 18, 2020 by 19 points. But having said that too, I think that these two sides are big pressure. And while the Bombers got the job done against the Power, I don't know what else I can say. I just don't think you can overrate them at this point. Yes, they did lose in the opening round. They lost to the Giants, but they were very competitive. So I think in that, I'm going to have to say very much a chance here. I really do. I think you're going to have to do it. I'm going to say the Bombers to win by 5 points. I think their midfield will be too good. I do think they're playing on the Friday. Essendon had the bias. Essendon will be fresh. Richmond versus Fremantle at Barossa Park, 12:35. This is interesting. This isn't a 50-50 game. This should be an easy game to pick. Now, while I said that, Fremantle are looking the goods at the moment. Yes, they did win against the Eagles and the Bulldogs, which is more than I can say Well, the Tigers did defeat the Blues by 13 points. So what I will say is they won by 51 points round 17, 2024 at our Optus Stadium. But they haven't had much success, Richmond, as of late. Now, they've won 3 of the last 5. Richmond won by 15 points in round 13, 2023. In round 19, 2022, it was a draw. While I do think this is a different Fremantle and Richmond outfit, I think the Dockers should get the job done by 80 points. St Kilda versus the Giants at Norwood Oval in Adelaide. Well, the Saints have won 3. So have the Giants. This is generally a 50-50 game. Now, while I think against the Eagles, mate, they had an easy win. And then, yes, they did beat Collingwood by 52 points. And yes, they beat the D's by 3 points. They did lose to the Hawks. Well, they lost to the Crows. And since then, they've defeated the Cats, the Tigers, and the Power. So, having said that, I think this will be a tough game. I think we're going to see more of the Saints as well. I'm going to say the Saints just by 8 points. Put Adelaide versus Hawthorn in a genuine 50-50 Adelaide Oval. These two teams know how to get a good game. Now, last time these sides met was the semi-finals, and obviously when they won by 3 points as well. Don't forget they also won by a point as well. Round 10, 2024. So twice they won that. 3 times in round 12, 2023. They also won by 64 points in round 2, 2022, Hawthorn. And in round 16, 2021, they won by 34 points at Marvel. So they pretty much have dominated 1-4. So, look, as much as I think it will be a closer game, it's 50-50. I think the Hawks would just get the job done by 3 points. And I really do think that it will be a close game, but don't be surprised if Port Adelaide shut up and win. Hope you guys liked the video. Don't forget to drop a like, also drop a sub. Bye for now.